Listener discretion is advised.
Trigger warning. There is discussion of child sexual abuse in this case. It's an SVU episode. You kind of know what you're getting, but I just wanted to make that clear.
It's also a wine and crime episode.
Correct. So the story begins with a totally normal dude. It's early 2000s.
I'm already suspicious. Did you see my eyes narrow?
Yeah, it's like
a totally normal dude.
I mean, be suspicious. Spoiler alert, be suspicious.
B-E suspicious.
Be suspicious. B-E suspicious. So this dude's 40 years old. He's married. He has a stepchild. This is his second marriage. He did not have children with his first wife. He doesn't, as far as I know, have any children of his own. He married a woman who already had a kid. He's a school teacher. He's an unassuming, innocuous dude. They always are. Before getting his master's in education and becoming a teacher in 1998, he had also worked as a corrections officer and was clearly familiar with the law. He and his wife had been married for several years. He had no criminal record, and other than a pretty normal penchant for pornography, which is subjective anyway, since teenage boyhood, which that could be any amount of porn, honestly. Any amount of porn is normal for a teenage boy.
He's able to hold down his jobs.
Right.
And enjoys porn.
Yeah. As long as it's regular of age consenting porn.
Yes. He raised no red flags and did not show sexual behavior that would be considered deviant, which I'm putting in quotes because that's obviously subjective.
Let's say criminal.
Right. This is what was in the articles.
Right.
Any sex acts between consenting parties of consenting age, fine by me. Who am I to say what's normal? I'm just painting a picture here. Please don't email me. Okay? I've had a lot of Olivia Benson wine. I can't. So something started to shift in him, and his sexual appetite seemed to sort of suddenly change.
Did he have a brain trauma?
40?
Well, he's 40, so he's chalking it up to midlife hormones. He adjusts his porn search settings.
I think it sounds like brain trauma.
Well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
To some more spicy stuff and goes about his life. But this is not satisfying his sexual urges, and they rapidly became more and more alarming. For the first time in his life, he searched child sexual abuse materials online.
Ooh.
Knowing this was completely wrong and illegal, former corrections officer, he built a secret library of these materials and kept these feelings secret from his wife. Alarming himself and hoping a taboo sexual release would get rid of the pedophilic urges, he also solicited sex work at massage parlors. This was also not enough, and unfortunately, he made sexual advances on his stepdaughter, who was around 10 or 11 years old at the time. It is unclear how far this went, but at a minimum, sexual molestation did occur. So there was touching.
You might not know the answer to this, but
I probably don't. Let's hear it.
The age of the daughter relevant to his particular searches?
He'd been searching for child sexual abuse materials.
Right. I just meant
and
the
she's
age.
10 years old. I don't know.
Maybe he never acted on it to her before because she was younger than his window. You know what I mean?
I don't know what his window was.
Right.
I have no clue, but she is a child.
Oh,
that's all I know.
Of course. I'm just wondering.
I don't know if there was synchronicity or whatever.
Right.
With the searches.
This is I'm still on brain trauma.
Listen,
camp.
Just let it unfold. Can't a bitch paint a picture? Jesus Christ.
I like to be suspish.
We like to guess.
Be suspish.
You like to just give it all away. Great. I love it.
We don't know. We're guessing.
No.
Painted a good picture.
I'm an audience. I don't know how it ends.
After several weeks of abuse, the child told her mother what was going on, and she, the mother, confronted her husband. He was evicted from their home, and she went to the police. Good for her.
Good.
And an investigation uncovered his secret library of CSAM, and he was quickly arrested.
Good. She didn't try to Duggar it.
No. It was bye-bye.
Dug herself a hole.
Duggar it deeper. At trial, he was ordered to participate in a sexual disorder recovery program and was prescribed medroprogesterone, which is a medication that is commonly prescribed to folks with irregular menstruation. But
Medroxyprogesterone.
But can also be prescribed to patients with sexual disorders because it lowers testosterone levels, thus lowering sexual drive, without the side effects that other testosterone-restricting drugs can have, such as increased, quote-unquote, feminization. So like swelling and sensitivity of breast tissue, etc.
Right. I've had that before. The medication.
Great.
Because my period wasn't regular, not because I was an offender.
I mean, it's typically not prescribed to binary women who are sex offenders. Mm-hmm. This medication is also pretty commonly described to binary men in nursing homes with dementia, because an unfortunate side effect of like dementia is that there's an abundance of sexual urges, even if the elderly individual doesn't have the capacity to fulfill those sexual urges. They still have the feelings, and they can be inappropriately taken out on staff, residents, and even family because
they don't understand the context they're in.
Yeah.
So even people that like were not offenders beforehand and would never do that normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of like putting all these old people in jail, they're like, okay, we're just going to like suppress the sex drive.
Well, it's not their fault.
Right. It's your chemistry is changing. Yeah.
I had
this
a
is
friend
just another reason not to get old. I
had a friend who will remain unnamed, but this person was living with a grandparent who had dementia, and they had more than one encounter.
It's a lot.
Well, it's really traumatic tough. From a person that you love. It's like,
God bless our elder care workers. And if you're an unpaid elder care worker, God bless you too. Like, it's a lot. Yeah. Aging is not cute.
No, it's not cute.
So the medication and 12-step program were not enough to stop his urges, and he was kicked out of the program for making sexual advancements on members of the staff at the facility. As well as the other clients in his program.
So he just like really cannot. It's escalating. Can't control it.
Yep.
Out of control.
Out of control. And failure to complete the program meant that he had to go to prison. This was the stipulation of his sentencing as a first-time offender. It was like, you do this or you go to prison. So the next step was for him to once again go before the judge and find out how long he would be in prison. But
making a sexual advance upon the judge.
Yes, probably. I mean, I think it was a male judge, so it's
Can we work something out?
Yeah, he's still, we're operating on the binary, and he is clearly attracted to
women,
binary females. Yeah. But the night before his sentencing, he burped.
He's also so oversexed that maybe at this point it wouldn't really matter.
I don't know. I mean, he's out of control.
He's out of control.
Bottom line is
synapses are.
It's nothing's making sense. He has no boundaries.
Sexual sex.
Sex apses.
Yes.
So the night before his sentencing hearing, he suffered from a severe headache and noticed that his balance was off. This could have been a stress-induced migraine. Dude is about to go to prison. You know, like whatever. But the pain was bad enough that he decided to go to the emergency room. While he was being seen by doctors, he opened up to them about the escalation of his deviant thoughts, that he was also experiencing suicidal ideation and fantasies of raping his female landlord.
Ooh.
Medical staff noted that while treating him, he just urinated all over himself without like any shame or reaction. It just sort of like happened.
Oh,
and he just like kept kind of going about his day. And in there, I can't read because I have had 2.5 glasses of wine. He also unabashedly tried to solicit sex from the female staff in the emergency room. I can only imagine how that went for him. Like, I've seen it all. Quit barking up this fucking tree.
I'm sure that wasn't even the first time that day.
No.
Well, by a dude covered in his own urine.
Seriously, it's not funny, obviously, but that reminds me of back when I worked in the restaurant industry. I was walking to my car after a closing shift at a bar that I fucking hated working for. And they made us wear these like really explicit, quote unquote, uniforms. But anyway, I'm walking to my car. I've got like $400 in cash shoved in my boot because that's just what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost to my car when, like, out of nowhere, this dude just starts running at me.
running
And-
at you.
Oh yeah, I knew what was happening, but I like had my hand on the handle of my car. So I just got in my car, locked the door, and then as I was driving away, I was so fucking irritated and my adrenaline was running out of control. As I was like peeling out with my window down, I just went, "You're not even the most annoying person I've dealt with today," and just drove away. And it's like I was moments from assault and robbery. And I just was too irritated to like even process what was going on. I was so fucking annoyed that I had to like jog the last foot to my car
Your
after that
sass
fucking
always-
12-hour shift.
Your sass always surfaces to
It
the
does.
top,
It
no
pops
matter
in.
what.
In an emergency, it just pops in. The
Yeah.
sass. You're not even the most annoying person I've dealt with today.
You scream
Peels
out your
in my-
open window as
In
you peel
my
out.
Buick, my 95 Buick Regal Custom that I had recently spray painted with gold glitter.
Oh yeah.
Oh
remember
my
that.
I am not
God.
your target, sir. I just,
I didn't know that story. That's amazing.
I feel for these nurses.
She has so many stories. I've never heard that story either. What is your life?
I don't, listen, work in bars and restaurants
Yeah.
for like a solid 15 years and shit's
Oh.
gonna go down. You know, you're there now.
You're
you
also
own
a
one.
magnet for
The weirdos
weird
love
shit.
me. It's
Yeah.
a pheromone.
Mhm.
it is.
I'm proud of it. I'm not gonna change. So anyway,
It's an odor for sure.
it's an odor. So he also developed like an odd twitch like in his face while he was in emergency care. He developed a noticeable limp, and his ability to write seemed to disappear over the course of the evening.
The
All
fuck?
right. Shit's
So
going down.
they're suspecting that a neurological emergency is happening here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So doctors went over his medical history with a fine-tooth comb, and other than like a likely concussion where he was knocked unconscious for a couple minutes during like a sports ball like a decade prior,
Mhm.
his medical history was completely clear. Nothing on it.
Bizarre.
So bizarre. So to be sure nothing is going on or to identify what is going on, the medical team ordered an MRI, a brain MRI.
A stand-up MRI.
Not a stand-up because he could not stand MRI. A
Sounds
stand-up
really
comedic
boring.
MRI.
Zach was like, these things are taking off. How are there this many stand-up clubs?
Their flyers suck.
Comedy sports has really gone downhill.
Cover is outrageous.
So this guy's scans would reveal an egg-sized tumor located in the frontal cortex of his brain. And as we know from Lucy Seggs in previous episodes, the frontal cortex is responsible for our inhibitions and decision-making and largely responsible for our boundaries of morality and behavior.
Yep.
So
There we go.
doctors were able to remove the tumor, which was cancerous, and his behavior improved immediately. Within hours of waking from surgery, he was able to write. He could get up and walk without his limp within about a day. He had fully regained bladder control almost immediately. And most importantly, he didn't feel any of the previous sexual urges.
That is crazy. It just
Wow.
makes you realize that, like, and this
My
is
new
hard-
fear? I'm
that
gonna get a brain tumor and turn into a sexual predator? Like
I mean,
overnight?
it's possible.
It is. It
It's
happens.
clearly possible.
It's literally possible.
I know, but it just makes you think that, like, we don't have free will. Like, we
No,
are seriously
no.
just
We're just
a
machines.
bundle. Yeah, we are just a
We're
bundle of
flesh
atoms.
machines.
Yeah,
It's your synapses.
Yep.
All you
Yeah.
do, all of your decisions are
Everything.
based on
It's
previous
chemicals.
experiences.
It's
That's
chemicals
it.
and previous experiences. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
it's just previous experiences that like trained chemicals like where to go and
Yeah.
how to fire.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
and then when a
crazy.
wrench gets thrown in that machine,
yeah.
you're fucking molesting kids.
Like
Jesus Christ. my fears.
every couple of years, I will go back and re-listen to the episode of This American Life, which I'm overdue for, about the guy who had Huntington's disease
Yes.
and ended up, I think he killed his father.
Oh, it's so
but in like the
tragic.
most ridiculous overkill Like it was all a result of a brain disease, but he
Yes.
like removed the fingers, dismembered the body.
And
his
again,
dad.
that does not mean that anyone with
Lucy
Huntington's
with
is
this
going to do
egg
that.
tumor in her frontal
Oh.
cortex.
Of course,
You'd be
obviously
dead.
not.
monster.
We'd
A
be
brain
dead.
tumor or brain trauma does not mean you're going to be a violent person.
No.
Of
but
course not.
this,
It doesn't.
I was
this
making a joke.
and the Huntington's example and my inevitable brain tumor, which
Right.
will
That will
result
kill
in
me and
extreme
Kenyon.
violence.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be dead.
It's just, it blows the mind.
It's
so to
really,
speak.
and then it's like, how do you get into like the consequences? How do you get
Well-
into like his feelings of guilt?
We'll
and
get to
His
it, kind of.
stepdaughters.
yeah,
assault.
because
Yeah.
she's still an assault that she experienced.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. So he returned to the 12-step program because after like medical intervention and recovery from the tumor, the courts allowed him another chance to complete the program because now it's like, okay, these are extenuating circumstances,
Right.
fucking obviously.
Yeah.
So he successfully finished the program. He seemed to be rehabilitated. He even reconnected with his wife. I don't know if they moved back in together, but like
He seemed to
He
be rehabilitated.
began the long and certainly horrifying process of healing and reconciliation with his stepdaughter. But within a year of surgery, his headaches returned
no.
and he had begun searching for CSAM again. But this time, he didn't wait to go to the doctor and explain that his symptoms were returning. So like he got these urges, he like did a couple of online searches and was like, "Oh, wait.
It's
He
back.
knew.
It's back. I have to
Oh.
go to the doctor." Goes to do another scan. Sure enough, the cancer is returning in the same spot where it had been removed. So he had another surgery and his urges disappeared again.
But
So like
still,
at
how
least
do
this
you-
time it was like, I know the warning signs, but it's like, how do we go in every 6 months then? Because you're already starting to search for
Yeah.
child sexual
is a
abuse
crime.
material, which is a
And-
fucking crime and
you're-
horrifying.
hurting people.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. That is not a victimless crime.
Right.
You are perpetuating an industry
Right. Right.
that creates a market for that.
Right,
And if
right.
if you now know,
right.
like if you without the tumor are aware,
right.
then you have to be proactive. Like if this, God forbid,
Yeah.
if this happened to me, I would be in every fucking day.
Right.
Being like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll go bankrupt. Another scan. Like, I
Right.
can't. I'm too scared.
Well,
Yeah.
like you say a lot, your sickness is not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
It's your responsibility. And
Yeah.
now
Have
he
to
knows that
keep
there
tabs.
are severe consequences
Right.
to this illness that he suffers from.
It's destroyed his marriage, his relationship with a underage stepdaughter. Like
His career.
had-
What about his career? Wasn't
Oh,
he?
He was a teacher. No mas.
oh
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no mom,
Big hard no.
Yeah. We're
I just-
assuming.
No, he was fired.
Okay,
I mean, he was arrested, tried, and convicted of child
Right, right,
molestation. He
okay.
can never work with children again.
Yeah.
Like regardless,
Of
he is a
The
registered
reason.
sex offender.
Right.
It doesn't matter about the tumor because like that's the thing. You have to mitigate risk. The tumor
Right.
can come back. Clearly, it did. You
Well-
cannot work with children.
it's like a lot of offenders who, probably would have been fine, but circumstances aligned in such a way in like their development that, kind of made them.
Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.